not going to keep this in the episode, but you get the point.
Guy, I liked my little boy eating joke, dude. You gotta leave that in.
I've cut out many of my great bits because they were.
Well, I gotta know. I gotta save my child molestation jokes, dude, for when we're on the. We're on the air.
Hold on. So while I was setting up, you said you had an altercation with a guy.
I did. I had an altercation today. All right. And usually, I don't want the smoke. I don't got the energy. I don't got the time to confront you. Okay.
Yeah, you're not a confrontational guy.
No, I'm not looking for it. I'm not afraid of confrontation, but I'm not out seeking confrontation. Okay. Yeah. So I went surfing today, and I got to wash off my board. You got to rinse off your board because it's been in the salt water, all right? Yeah. And there's a guy, I don't know if he's homeless or not, but man's taking a full-on shower with conditioner and shampoo and soap in a public shower, a beach shower, okay?
I've seen that.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? And I don't know if he's homeless. I don't care. It's fine. So I show up, I see him. He's literally, man's got long hair. He's combing out his hair.
He's a beach dude. He's a beach guy.
He's either, and he's a big guy.
He lives at the beach.
I think he did.
Except at night, because that's illegal.
I'm sure he slept. I don't know what his deal was, but he was conditioning his hair, okay? And he had a comb. He was combing, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel any... I'm like, it's a public shower. He's free to do whatever he pleases, man. I don't care.
He's fully nude?
He's not, but he's washing his dick and balls in his shorts.
Yeah.
He's pulling, he's taking soap and rubbing his dick and balls.
I wouldn't have said anything. He's probably homeless or something.
Exactly. And I'm not saying anything, okay? But I'm waiting, because I'm like...
There are neighbors too, Joey.
I'm not
kidding. I don't actually.
I'm aware. I am respectful, but at the same time, I'm waiting my place in line because I don't want someone else to get it twisted that, oh, I'm next waiting after this man, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm waiting there,
this
and
guy.
I'm waiting, and I'm just kind of like hanging out, and I kind of was like looking at him. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if a guy's washing his dick and balls in front of you in public, I'm gonna look. We've talked about this. You relinquish that privacy.
I don't know why I wanted to, but I was just like, I think maybe to hurry him up. But in reality, dude, I was like, you're free to do this. This is entirely yours. You're not acting out of pocket. You're free to do this. I have no right to say anything. If at some point he takes too much time, I'd be like, hey, how long are you gonna be?
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting
5 minutes.
My foot's fucked up, so I'm waiting, and then he starts muttering under his breath. It's like, oh, everybody just gawking, just staring at me, just gawking, just staring.
Okay, he's yelling. I see what's going on.
He's not addressing me, and he's like, just stare. Yeah, it's just so rude, staring. I was like, hey man, how long you gonna be?
You said that?
This is what I'm saying. I was like, man, I'm being cool, dude. You're taking a long ass time. You're bringing some Neutrogena to a public shower. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm being cool. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. I was like, how long you gonna be? Because I'm like, I'll come back. I don't know how long you're gonna be. I don't want to stare and look at you. He's not. This guy is no beauty queen, dude. Yeah. He is not. And he's like just staring at me. So I'm pissed at him now because I'm like, I'm already pissed. I have the right to be pissed, but I don't have the right to say anything. So he's yelling at me for gawking at him. I'm like, I said to him, I was like, guy, I'll come back. And he's like, just staring at me, just going on about me staring at him. I'm like, guy, I'm not trying to look at your body. I said this. I'm like, I'm not trying to look at your body, man. Yeah. You tell me, I'll come back in 10 minutes. If you're going to take 10 minutes, that's fine. It's your shower for the time being. I'm not trying to hurry you along.
Well, dude, you can't argue with this guy, man. This guy's screw loose, man. He's just going to be muttering to himself. What are you going to say?
Well, I'm not trying to this guy is clearly not in a good place.
No, man, he's got issues. He's got some things going on. He's going to go outside. He's going to go hang outside of Phil's Coffee and bug people for a while.
But that's what I'm like, I'm not trying to do this to you. I'm not trying to be a dick to a homeless person.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So he's like, but I'm like, now you're coming at me. I'm patiently waiting for you to wash your dick and balls.
Dude, now that you say this, man, this triggered a story that just happened to me. When I was coming home from getting food tonight, I was like, there was just a drifter guy, as you see on Sunset, like just a guy drifting.
Could have been the same guy.
Could have been the same guy. This guy had he had that touch of evil though. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people just be walking around starting shit. You're like, oh, whatever. This guy's he's just a drifter. Then sometimes you see him and you're like, I think this guy's possessed by a spirit.
Yeah.
I think So this was one of these guys, and he stared me down when he was walking. I was just like waiting outside this restaurant for my food, and then he stares me down, kind of like walking by. He stares everyone down.
Yeah.
Like whatever, he passes by. Then I got my food. I go to my car, and then I'm coming down the hill at the stoplight, and of course, what do you know? Dude walks right in front of the street, and he's just like slow, just kind of like the slow. I hate to say this, it's so insensitive, but he was zombie walking, dude.
Yeah,
he was just zombie walking, and of course I have a green arrow. That's how verified my decisions are.
You're the only one that can go.
Correct, and he just walks in front of my car, zombie, and so slow, and I'm like getting ready to miss the light, so I inch up on him because I don't give a fuck at this point.
Yeah,
and then he like turns to me and gives me like the stink eye, and I was like, "You going?" And then he just, of course, and then I'm like, "Why am I?" Some of these drifters, man, will try to intimidate you, and you gotta clap back at them instantly.
That's why I said that.
Because I'm like, oh, like first of all, I don't start shit with people. I'm not starting shit. We're on the same page.
Patiently waiting.
Me too. I'm an empathetic person. I'm not starting shit with anybody. I'm more lax than most of the people in West Hollywood when it comes to like some hobos in your vicinity. Sure. All right, I'm cool.
Some drifters. Right? Let's go drifters.
But if you're being shitty, like, dude,
let's go bohos.
Santa Monica and La Brea, like that intersection is cursed, dude. It's like a Minecraft spawn point.
That's where I saw that Walgreens is where I saw a motherfucker get jumped.
Yeah. It's a
skateboard and his camera.
It's a cursed intersection. Okay, and
have I told this right in the podcast?
Yeah, I think you have. Okay. But if they're coming aggressive at you, I'll just be clapping back at them. Like they like kind of like walk towards you, start screaming at you. And I've been known to like a couple times. I'll be like, "What do you want, motherfucker? Like, you talking to me? Like, you just kind of hit them back with immediately like, oh, I'm not just gonna stand here and take your shit. And it sucks because you're like, yeah, are they like fucked up in the head? Yeah. But you know what, dude? I also don't feel bad the amount of times it's happened to me. Like people try to intimidate you. You know what I mean? Like just some guy standing on a corner like La Brea.
That's what I'm saying, Monica. Dude. I don't take any more guff from nobody, man.
Me neither. Because
I don't
what
care.
Are you gonna do? What? Oh, dude, I could pimp slap you right now, and no one will come and say shit about it. That's fucked up. I'm sorry that I gotta say that. I'm sorry I gotta flex on you like that. But if you come at me, I could just punch you in the mouth, and no one would do anything about it. Well, so like, are you really gonna come up and get my girl when I'm walking out of Best Buy holding a bag with Madden 21 in it? You gonna come fuck with me? Okay. You gonna come fuck with me, dude?
I want to take it. This man that I saw today, in my world, in my story today, this man, I do not know if he was homeless. He didn't look homeless. I don't think homeless people. I don't want to shit on the homeless. I just think this was a guy. I don't know what his deal was. He brought conditioner and a comb.
Homeless. Let's say drifter.
He was just. Something was up with him. Either way,
because homeless is a misnomer. And anyway, we've talked like
he was just a man that wanted the smoke, and I gave him the smoke. And dude, when I was like, hey man, I want to see you wash your body. All right, so tell me when. I'll come back late. So I'm telling him now. I'm like, I'm not gonna like walk away. Like I have a problem with you, dude, and I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah,
I'm being cool. So, and I'm gonna stand here, and if that makes you uncomfortable, good. And then he walked away, and I'm like, didn't want the smoke. Don't ask for it.
Exactly.
And he walked away, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about you. I was being cool. You could have washed your goddamn asshole all day. I wouldn't have said shit. But you had to make a big deal about me looking at your disgusting fucking body like I wanted to fuck you. Get the fuck out of town. Yeah. And I'm going to wash my surfboard off and go home, dude.
Dude, speaking of crazy beach people, I remember one time I played hooky on a Friday, and I just didn't go to work, and I went to the beach instead in the morning. I'm just like having a nice... I was literally just walking down the beach alone. I walked from Venice to Santa Monica and back. And then right when I got to the Santa Monica Pier, dude, just some guy walks naked through the crowd, just goes into the ocean.
I love that shit, though.
And just starts like doing all this. And I did too. I was in a different state, and I was just laughing and enjoying it. I thought it was the funniest thing, but so many people were just so upset about it. They're like, and I'm like, dude, if you think this is the dirtiest thing in this water right here,
you got another thing coming.
You ain't been to Santa Monica Pier before, all right? Like,
dude, I love a Protestant family seeing a penis.
Dude, me too. It's even better when it's a chick, when it's like a naked homeless lady.
Oh, seeing a puss,
that hit
dude.
Different, dude. That people don't like. Yeah, Protestant family going to a Protestant family ain't going to LA on vacation.
They're not. They're going to Florida.
Yeah, they're going to Florida. Where you can also see that. Same thing. Go to St. Pete Beach.
You gonna see some puss?
Yeah,
Some bush?
Yeah.
I don't like saying puss,
When I
but
went to Santa
do.
Barbara,
I clearly do like saying
I
it.
told you when I was in Santa Barbara watching the sunset, and a homeless lady came up and started shitting on the beach.
We can't say homeless.
Yeah, I just said it.
We gotta
dude.
not say. You gotta say
Drifter.
just
I said drifter.
the person.
It's a hard. You got to unlearn it. Listen, we're work in progress. I ain't like these fucking
We got.
phonies.
I feel. I don't want
like
to be
one of these phonies who's out here. It's like, well, I'm gonna do an Instagram live to raise money for like people. No, dude.
I don't want to. I don't want
people. You got to unlearn things. It's part of life. All right. You call homeless people. That's what you say. You say homeless your whole life, and you grow. And then now it's not like that anymore because they're being failed by the gov, and they're usually veterans. Okay. So I don't know.
I just don't want us to be the this week in the home. This week in.
We should make a Street Vibes podcast.
We should not.
Dude.
I don't want to be like Tales
Vibes.
from the Destitute.
Dude.
No.
Does Street Vibes have a podcast? Because we could host it. We could just host a round table every week.
I don't want to. I don't.
Like Venice Beach. Just like
something interesting had to happen in my life that didn't involve me punching down on a person of lesser
it's not punching
socioeconomic
down.
state.
It's not punching down. It's just life here, man. It's like it's just part of life here, you know?
I did try to give away. Okay, I went to Goodwill. This happened today, literally a couple hours ago. I went to Goodwill to drop off clothes because I'm cleaning out my closet to get fresh gear because I'm an LA boy.
Yeah.
All right. So I went to Goodwill and I go around back and I knew you ever like I'm dropping off my clothes and I know that something's going to happen where there's going to be someone there that's like, you can't do it. That thing you want to do, you can't now.
Yeah.
So I go around back and this guy's like talking through his mask. He's like, hey, yeah, you got to come at 11 a.m. or something. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, unless you want a $600 fine, you got to come at 11 a.m. I'm like,
okay, here we go.
So I was like, guy, what? And he's like, yeah, because coronavirus, they got to come at 11. I'm like, and I was like, okay, I'm all right. That's fine. I'm just going to throw these in the dumpster then. But he's like, all right, put them here.
Exactly. And I've
like,
done this at a Goodwill too.
Yeah.
Where they like, oh, the time's this. Well, I'm here now.
Yeah.
So like, what do we? You want me to go throw this in the dumpster in this alley right here in front of you? Whoa. No, I will. You know how much it took for me to come here, dude?
Dude,
You're
he
doing
threatened
the right
me.
thing.
He was like, you want a $600 fine? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, then you got to come back at 11 a.m. I'm like, guy,
I ain't got to do nothing. Dude.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, well, then you just put it in there. And I'm like, and then I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, like, thank you. Like, thanks. And he's like, all right, no problem. I'm like, why weren't you cool to begin with, dude?
I don't know. Some of these Goodwill folk, they're mean to you when you go there, dude.
He was very mean.
They're all mean. And I
just told him, I'm like, I'm not going to come back at 11 a.m. I'm just going to put my shit in the dumpster. I just wanted to maybe someone might want something I had.
Dude, I went to a Goodwill like a month ago and I waited in line to go check out. And then I go up there and then there was like one random DVD didn't have a tag on it.
Okay.
And she literally goes on the speakerphone for the whole place. And she's like, oh, this doesn't have it. He's like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We need price tag on DVD brought to the front. And then I realized that a guy has to come from the back with a price tag, a little barcode thing that they put on it so they can scan it. And then right when he comes up, she goes through the rest of my stuff and sees that there's another movie that doesn't have a tag. And she's like, oh, fuck. Like I can hear her mutter on her breath. She's like, oh, fuck.
Had the guy walked back?
So the guy's walking up with the tag and she's like, I need to. And he's like, I just came all the way from the back. She's like, I'm sorry. And then literally the other lady who's working gets on the speakerphone to the whole place. And she's like, attention Goodwill customers. If you notice an item does not have a tag on it, you need to alert one of our associates to get that tag or else you're holding up the line. Thank you. And I'm like standing there. I'm like,
oh, that was directed at you?
Oh, I'm okay. It was 100% directed at me, and everyone in line staring at me. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. You gotta understand, I got nothing going on.
Right.
I'll be here till you close. I don't care. And you want to come at me? Because I did not put a tag on this used copy of Jurassic Park. Are you fucking kidding me? How's that on me? I gotta go tell you that you didn't do your job, and
Yeah.
I your boss at the Goodwill.
I hate that like retroactive. Like if I would have done my job correctly, I wouldn't be upset right now, and it's your fault. Like,
Dude, I could
Well, we
not
can't-
believe it. They thought, and she thought she was gonna shame me, and then she realized I don't have any of that.
right.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck in public, dude.
But now
I
we're
don't
just
care
shitting
what
on
happens
Goodwill
to-
workers.
No,
what
I'm not.
happened to us, dude?
I'm not shitting.
We're the bad guys.
No, dude,
We're the
stop,
bad guys
stop,
in this
stop,
situation.
Stop. Here, I'm gonna tell you, I'm shitting on this one Goodwill employee. Yeah, dude, and I'll stand by that. They're dicks, dude, and I know the job's hard, but a lot of them are dicks. I don't know. Again, like, what do you do with that info? I don't know, but
This guy that I was shitting on, he was cool until I told him I was going to take my ball and go home, and then he was like, "Put it in
Alright.
here," and I was like, "Guy, like."
'cause then he's like, oh, I guess I forgot that my job is to help people who don't have much get more things.
Yeah, I don't know. I had sympathy for him, but I'm just like,
I
hey,
gotta-
man, like, I'm giving shit away.
I gotta think that like running, I gotta imagine that running a Goodwill is such a hard operation anyway. There's just
It's gotta
so
be
much
hard, yeah.
It's gotta be hard. There's shit coming in all the time, and you know this guy is so wrapped up in the day-to-day logistics of how everything has to be done like by the book.
Yeah.
And then in a moment like that where you're just a random guy with a bag of clothes, you're like, hey, I have this. He's like, oh well, you I mean, you have to come in between the hours of 6 and 11
Right.
because if you don't, and then you're like, hey, I will throw this away.
Yeah.
I don't care. And he's like, oh fuck, I forgot my job is to
help.
collect things for people in need.
Yeah, I think that's where he came from. But I mean, I guess I was being a dick because I just told him, I was like, guy, I'm going to throw it away. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. And he knew that I wasn't trying to be mean.
You know,
So he
most
was-
people just throw their clothes away.
Exactly. So I was just like, I'm just trying to like give, like, there's some good stuff in here. It just doesn't
Your
fit
intent
me
was
anymore.
good. Your
Yeah.
heart was in the right place, dude.
And he
There's nothing
knew. He
worse than
knew.
when your heart is in the right place and someone kind of like starts talking you out of it, like
Yeah.
making it hard. No good deed goes unpunished.
No, it
dude.
doeson.
So
John Bertoft.
yeah.
John Bertoft and Cheryl Bertoft simultaneously quote.
and Gandhi,
Mahatma
and
Gandhi?
and Trey Anastasio. Everyone has that quote, dude.
Alexandria Cortez. Help me out here.
AOC said it.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Anastasio from Fish.
Do you know Mahatma Gandhi wouldn't share? This is like, isn't it crazy? The lore, like when we die, never get famous, never be successful, because when you die, all people will remember you for is the shit that people said you did that was bad.
And they'll actively look for things that happen in your life to tear you down.
You guess? Ask me what the only thing I really know about Mahatma Gandhi is.
What's that?
He would not share a prison cell with a black man.
Yeah, dude.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Did he do a lot of good things? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that though.
Yeah, well, you got fed a Vox article one day, so now you know that painful fact.
Mm-hmm.
Just gloss over this man's entire lifetime of service and just dedication. Hey, dude, Martin Luther King Jr. cheated on his wife a bunch. It sucks.
So therefore, civil rights are stupid.
Therefore, you know, he's, you know. What
It
do you-
is-
it's
it is
Christmas.
funny.
We have to be. We haven't addressed the. We have the.
There wasn't. You
The
said there was
stalking.
something in them, and there wasn't.
I put
anything.
Narcan in them. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. We use the Narcan.
Just to help. It's just. I think it's just good to have nowadays.
You know, if they could make a serum like Narcan that you stab into you and it would neutralize the effects of marijuana, I feel like that shit would sell the fuck out
That's a Shark Tank idea right there. It's almost like
Yeah.
the hangover pill for drinking.
Exactly.
It's like something. I think that's what they're basically trying to sell CBD as, though.
of. Are they really?
Yeah, because CBD is like the balancing component.
Oh, they're saying this is Narcan for THC?
I don't think they're saying it's Narcan. You can't overdose on weed.
Am I saying that wrong?
911, do you have an emergency? Yeah, I overdosed on weed. I need some Narcan.
You know they're getting that call.
Wouldn't it be great if you like took too many edibles and you're just so fucked that you call an ambulance and you're like, I think I need Narcan. I don't. Like if you said,
Yeah,
I think
that
if
happens,
Here's
man.
the thing. No, it doesn't. Because if you say, I think I need Narcan, you don't need Narcan. Okay.
Yeah, if you articulate the words, if you know
can
what
say, I
Narcan
need
there is.
Narcan, they're like, all right, on your way. Go back
I got
to
a
this White
feeling-
Castle parking lot,
Yeah.
please.
I got a feeling if you're ODing on heroin, you're not like, save me. You're like, we'll see where this goes.
No, actually, I've heard a lot of first responders say that many of the times when they revive someone with Narcan, the first thing they feel is like immense anger. Like it's like as they
Really?
come out of unconsciousness, they're incredibly angry.
Because it rips all the euphoric effect off.
Yeah, of course. And they're also, but I mean,
I said
that
effect.
effect. But like,
Dude, we drank a lot.
Yeah, we have some whiskey here. Well, we did a live stream before this, so this is.
Did y'all show up to the live stream?
No, dude. We saw those numbers.
Some people did.
Concurrence 11. Fuck it, dude. It's Saturday night. What else we got going on?
That was really fun, though.
The world of lockdown.
Show up to the live stream next time. Is it still recording? Because if that's still recording, that's still recording.
I see it, dude. I got this on lockdown.
All right,
dude,
cool.
Did I tell you I was broadcasting live on Citizen the other day?
Why?
Because a bunch
Start a fight?
I was vibing at this moment, at this given moment.
Be
right?
more specific.
No,
what were
dude,
you
I'm not
doing?
gonna be specific. I was vibing in this moment, and then all of a sudden I hear my place is set up, whereas I can't really see the street, but I can hear everything. So I just all the time you hear like sirens coming, and you're like, oh, okay, there's like an ambulance passing, and then it doesn't pass. And then it just turns off outside your place. And you're like, oh, fuck, dude. So then I go out there and I got like a little hole in the fence that I go peep through.
Yeah.
I can kind of see what's going on in the streets. My little hillbilly periscope. I put my phone through this little crack in the fence. I could see through my camera lens.
Yeah,
what's going on? And there's like 5 ambulances across this apartment complex right across the street. So I'm like, oh, shit, dude. So I go out there. I got
you go beyond the peep
for this, dude. Yeah, I go. Well, I don't give a fuck. I'll go. I'm that guy who's just standing there, like when something's going on.
You're like, and then they ask you, like, "Sir, what are you doing here?" You're like, "I'm watching.
I'm being
the
an
show."
American. I'm an American, is what I'm doing. I'm exercising my rights currently. Thank you. I'm like not wearing a mask, talking to a cop. I'm exercising my rights right now. Thank you.
No, they say, "What are you doing here?" You're like, "I'm American."
Oh, sorry. I'm just busy. I'm just being a patriot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm standing there, and there's all these ambulances, and a bunch of cops show up. I'm like, oh, shit. So I start broadcasting live on Citizen. Because Citizen's great because for America, well, for the people, everyone's everyone's cooped in their places. So, like, this is the most entertainment.
You're a hero.
Yeah, I am a hero, dude. Again, like, so I'm starting to broadcast live, and then they deny it because they're like, the camera's too shaky. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Do you want
to a cameraman
to live? I'm broadcasting live.
Right.
I'm not submitting a video. I'm like, I'll go live. I got nothing going on.
And also, your like profession is cameraman.
Yeah, it was shaky because I'm holding the phone.
Okay, yeah.
And then they complain that the video is too shaky. I'm like, really? Citizen mods? Like, I was watching Citizen Kane, and I paused that shit to come out here and do this live stream for you. They finally accepted it, and I start walking down the street, and I'm like filming because, again, like I don't give a fuck. I'm just walking down the street, and it's a lady in the back of like the ambulance. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to show her, so I like pan away.
Yeah, have some respect.
Yeah, I'm not an animal. And then people start commenting, like, oh, the police scanners say this is an overdose. Someone overdosed in their apartment. I'm like, okay, beep.
And it's sad now.
And it got real. So then I stopped. But like, hey, I didn't know that. I was just reporting the news. Man.
What were you hoping for?
I'm a journalist at heart, dude. That's all I know. What was I hoping for? I actually don't know. Nothing good. Best case scenario, like someone
Murder Sue.
cut.
Or just murder. Murder Sue's too much. Sue makes me sad. Murder, I'm intrigued.
That's the part of the equation that makes you sad?
Hell yeah, that makes me horny.
Not the taking of another life?
Yeah, I'm into that, but someone killing themselves, bummer.
It's a bummer both ways. But either way, it's gold on Citizen, okay? Because everybody's filming that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so I stopped going live, and then everyone's commenting. And Citizen's great because all the comments are just like, this is what happens when you get a city full of Democrats. I'm like, okay, we're in West Hollywood. Like, who are you?
Yeah. Move, for sure.
Yeah, this is not a place for you, dude. No, yeah. But they actually love it because then they get to bitch all the time. 100%.
Yeah.
Of the time. It's not like a place like Wisconsin or Ohio or Michigan that's always flipping back and forth where like every 4 years one side gets to bitch and then the other side.
Right.
No, you're just you're full-time bitching if you're a Republican in California.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah.
Man, I love to complain about things.
I do too.
It's really like...
No, I like to fester on the complaints in my head and never voice them. That's my national pastime.
Oh, I speak up.
Depends on the scenario. I'll speak up if it's like the lesser of important. Like the more important it is, the less I'm going to speak up
Are you
about
serious?
it. The less important it is, the more I'm going to be like.
Dude, I've gotten to the point now, even like...
I made him redo my vision test. I told you that.
That's true, man.
I made him redo it.
Good for
She
you.
glossed over it. And she's like, do you see this line? I was like, A or F. She's like, all right, yeah, you got it. And then she like flips it. I'm like, no.
Dude, that's, I mean, even like, I feel like that the way to get respect on the job is if you don't be agreeable, be very straightforward and say like, that's not going to work. That's not going to do this. Cause then people will take you seriously.
They'll be like, this guy means business.
Yes. And he knows what he's doing. But if you're too agreeable, if you're starting to agree to deadlines and say, yeah, I can do that, I'll make that work, then they'll take that as like, this guy,
He'll do anything.
He'll do anything. But if you're like, no, it's not going to work, I think that's too much. If you're making shots and you're like calling them, they're going to say, ooh, okay. They're going to, you know what it is? It's the same thing. If a girl's running around on you and you tolerate it, what's she going to do?
She's going to keep running around.
She's going to run around.
Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's for sure. You know what, dude? I'm going to kick off
You
a
think that's
segment
true?
here that someone asked us to do. And
What is that?
it's time to do it. Someone asked us to do worst first date stories.
Oh, you want to play?
Yeah, because you trashed me in the DMs. This
I
nice
did.
lady asked us to do this segment. And that's true. That's fair,
Lindsay
actually.
did.
I
Lindsay
accept
did.
that. I accept that. I didn't feel like doing it last week because I wasn't feeling it. So I'm going to do it now. Worst first date stories.
Okay.
I'm not going to do this at length, though, because I think it's inherently boring. But, like...
It's not. It's actually very interesting. And I'm very excited to hear your story.
You pop off first.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you pop off
Well,
first.
I'm gonna do one on my other channel called The Anecdotal, which I'm gonna tell the story
plug
later.
your other channel
I
during
just did.
this, dude.
I just did because I didn't know we were gonna do this.
Fuck
but
that. Follow me on Citizen. My name is SandwichBeard513.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. And then, because that's an appropriate username.
you had to do the 513.
Yeah, I was taken. Yeah, I was taken.
on Citizen.
I don't know how
Guy.
that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
What are you going to do?
Oh man. Okay. So here's one. I mean, I'll do one that makes me sound like I'll do one that like makes me. I've had so many bad dates in my life. This is one that makes me sound like a dirtbag. I'm gonna save the other one because honestly, I'm gonna fabricate it. I'm gonna kind of lie about the
as you
story
should,
entirely to make it funny.
Yeah.
So, but this one's entirely true. So I went to Long Beach to see this girl. Okay. This is tragic, all right?
It's already a sad story.
It already is. So I'm going to Long Beach, and this is like, I must have been like fucking just the biggest thirst king of all time because I was going to drive to Long Beach during rush hour. Guy.
Yeah, you're trying
Your
to
boy
slap.
your boy was horny.
Yeah, you were
all right?
thirsty, dude.
I was about to drive an hour from like, anyway, so you got the point. I'm ready to go. So I drive to Long Beach to the Ballast Point in Long Beach, all right? Takes me like an hour and a half to get there. I get there. I got to give you the backstory on this girl.
Can you imagine driving to Columbus? To like,
I know.
like from Cincinnati driving to Columbus?
Guy.
Can you imagine being in Indianapolis and driving to Chicago to
Imagine the
slam
thirst.
some pussy, dude? No, Jesus Christ.
Imagine the thirst.
It was
dude.
real.
So anyway, she had told me, she's like, I'd seen her pictures. This is a Bumble date, right? Okay, so I met her on Bumble. We talked a bit. She was really nice. She was really cool. Okay, so I mean, this is not the worst first date, but I show up, and she had told me, she's like, oh, I broke my ankle. Okay, so she told me I broke my ankle like really bad. She said I'd been bedridden for 4 months. Okay,
This is my first day out of the apartment.
Kind of, she had said that, and she told me about this, and I thought about this, and
You're
I'm like,
oh, she's not gonna be down to fuck.
well, I'm
She
not
can
even
barely walk.
I'm not that much of a savage where I'm just like, I only want to
She'd be
have
like,
sex.
God damn it, bitch! I drove down here.
Oh God, dude. Okay, but here's the thing. All right, so anyway, she had told me this, and there's part of me that's like,
Keep going.
her pictures. She was really like, she was really cute, you know, and I was into her. We were having a good conversation. It was really fun.
Yeah.
For all the reasons, I was like, I do want to go out with this person. I do want to see them.
Yeah.
So, but it did raise a red flag when she did say, hey, I've been bedridden for 4 months.
I haven't moved my legs in 17 weeks. But
Yeah. So she was like new on her feet, and there's part of me that is thinking, because I'm a person, and there's part of me that thinks, if you've been in bed for 4 months, your physique's not great, and I'm going on a date, and I don't feel bad about saying that.
You should.
do not. Anyway.
Wait, what part makes this the worst? Get to the point.
Okay,
here.
all right.
This is a segment.
I'm backstorying. Okay, so anyway, I show up in Long Beach, Ballast Point, and this girl is like, dude, she just does not. It's wrong.
Didn't add up. Didn't add up.
It was just
She a big girl?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I really like big girls.
Yeah.
Okay. This was wrong.
Too much.
This was.
You're stretching the truth.
I showed up, didn't recognize her. Okay. I recognize. This is gonna make me sound like an asshole, but this is fun.
Didn't recognize her?
Didn't recognize her, and then I meet her, and like and it's honestly, it's not even like I'm like disappointed. I'm like, this is just awkward because we both know that you. I swear to God, dude, she might have weighed twice what she weighed in her pictures.
Dude. Whoa.
I'm not trying to be mean.
This is fun because I can't imagine how many times I've done this to a chick.
Oh, are you the bait and switch here, dude?
No, I'm not. But
photoshopping yourself?
No, of course not. But sometimes you wonder if you show up, like when you're a bigger guy, like you show up and you wonder if they pegged your fatness correctly. You know what I mean? Like if they could
just present yourself accurately.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just took photos of myself on my phone. And
then that's you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they knew what they were getting into. I don't feel bad about it.
That's the thing. And I show up and I'm like, guys, and if anyone's like, wow, Joe sounded like a real douchebag, then you don't understand.
No, it's not true.
You don't understand. And it wasn't even like, it was just, you know what? The fact of the matter is I showed up and I was not attracted to this person. All right. But the thing, it didn't turn out too bad because here's the problem.
Can't rush fate.
We hung out. She was very nice. She was very cool. She was a Laker fan. I'm a Laker fan. And here was the problem. We get to the end of the date and I could tell.
Oh no.
I could tell.
She wanted it.
I could tell she was just kind of like, we're like kind of like waiting around by her car. She's like, oh, you want to like walk me there to my car? And she's waiting for me to. There are a couple things said along the date where you just know, you're like, okay, you're waiting for me to make out with you at your car and then fuck you at your apartment that's right around here.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm just like,
and that ain't happening.
Dude, I felt so bad because I'm just like, I was just like,
sorry, I have diarrhea. I have to go home. That's when you pull out that.
I mean, you don't have to say it, but it was one of those things where I didn't do it. I didn't kiss her. And part of me, honestly, she was so nice and so cool.
Oh, you didn't even kiss her, dude?
No, I didn't even do it.
Yeah, that would have sent mixed messages because you know you weren't coming back.
I wasn't coming back.
You weren't coming back.
No, I couldn't.
I get it. That's fucked up. Well, it's not fucked up. It was a little bait and switch, a little catfish.
It's not the worst date, but that was just one that I did get. I'm not going to be, she was very cool, but she was, I don't know. She was nice, but she was a Laker fan. We were having fun, but I'm sorry. I don't even remember what this girl's name was, but I'm sorry I did not have sex with you. And you probably needed a good dick down because you've been in bed for 4 months.
She's been in bed for 4 months.
Sorry.
Well, was she fat because she had been bedridden?
Yeah, because she looked really pretty in her pictures. And she was pretty, but it was just like the fact that like just her, I know, I felt bad, but it's at the same time.
What's she gonna do? Take new pictures? Like, she knows, like, Well,
yeah, you do. You take new pictures because it's like, but it was fine. It was fun. But it's just like, I'll go on a date with you and that was fun. We have a good time, but like, I cannot get hard for you. And that sucks. It sucks.
Listen, dude. Listen.
You go. Your turn.
One time I went on a first date with this chick and I was in college and she lived on the University of Cincinnati campus. So, and I live with my parents because I'm like, I want some rich, poser whose parents could afford to give them like full room and board and dorm and everything at UC. I was living at home being a loser like you do. Anyway, so this chick's like, hey, let's, she said I lived in Clifton. She's like, I live in Ludlow, Clifton. So I knew the neighborhood she lived in. And she's like, yo, I want to go to this restaurant right in the heart of Ludlow, Clifton. And I was like, okay. And then you're kind of like, all right, that's a move in and of itself. I'm like, and you're just like, I'll keep that in the back of my head. And you go, so I meet this chick at some weird bar.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go back to the what did you clock in your head?
if she's like, hey, I live in this exact neighborhood, and she kind of insinuated where she lived, let's meet very close to where I live. I'm like, okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, yeah, I'll be there.
I can connect the dots.
I think I can show up. I think I can put that on my calendar, my iPhone calendar. So I was like, okay. So then we go to this place and we start. First thing, dude, she orders I order a beer. She orders a White Russian. Red fucking flag, dude.
Why? You're right, but
red
why?
Flag. Instant, because you don't. A White Russian is a drink you make at home or during, like a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Or you don't go to a bar and order a White Russian. You don't go to a bar in a college town and then ask them to pull out some milk,
Yeah.
some cream.
If
you know?
it's summer, it's like, girl, you ain't never been to a bar.
So she orders a White Russian, first
Okay.
red flag. And I know people listen out here like this, look how picky this guy is. But like, listen, I just have some print. I have one print. If you're ordering a White Russian, it's kind of a random. I'm just saying it draws attention. It's it raises,
Buddy, I hear you.
raises some eyebrows. Anyway, so then they bring it to us and she takes a sip and she's like, oh no, this isn't right. Oh no, this is not right. And then she's like, hold on a second. And then she like calls the bartender over and you think it's going to be something like, oh, I think this milk is bad.
Spoiled milk, yeah.
At the half Irish pub, half Mediterranean restaurant that we're in right now, / pizza shop, Italian dine, you know. And so she's like, oh, this isn't right. She calls the waiter over. She's like, yeah, there's supposed to be way more vodka in this. Like, this is not happening. And I was like,
no.
Okay, here we go. Dude, never once have I been on a date, and I was like, all right, well, this is done. I was like, this is not.
You were already.
I was out.
Were you planning your escape?
If it was Shark Tank, I'd be Kevin O'Leary immediately. Be like, I'm out.
Okay.
So I was,
No perpetuity deal here.
Yeah. No, and then after that, it just kind of like got weird. So then she was like, so we just like have dinner and just kind of have like weird, awkward conversation.
Sure.
So it's just nothing in common. It's just not.
You're trying to get out.
Just not going well. And she's like, hey, my apartment's right around the corner. You want to go over there? I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do that. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, so then I go back to her place and then all of a sudden, we're just like hanging out. I'm there for like 7 minutes.
Is this a dorm or is this just kind of?
It's an apartment. It's not a dorm.
Okay, cool.
It's not. But she lives with a roommate, but her room is just a bed and no chairs and like no TV. She's like, let's just hang out in my room. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, again, you're like kind of okay. I go, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then
Full clip. You're full clip thinking.
So I'm like Sam. I'm like, okay, this is. I'm like, there's nowhere to sit, I'm just like standing there, and I'm like, I don't know what to. I'm not like sitting on her bed because I'm not trying to send a message. I'm the passive one.
Guy, you're in her room. Sit on the bed.
Well, anyway,
it's not a Thirst King move.
So I eventually sit on the bed, and then immediately she's like, "Oh yeah, so my roommate's coming in like 3 minutes," and she was like, I was like, "Oh okay," and sure enough, like her roommate comes home. I'm like, "What's
the same room?"
Just it's like an open door in the middle that goes out to there.
Okay.
It was a beads divider.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This is
all right.
college,
No privacy.
dude. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so I just remember saying, I'm like, why did you invite me here?
You said this?
No, I didn't say this. But
okay.
She kind of be like, oh, my roommate's home, so like, yeah, maybe we just hang another time. I'm like, why did we? I didn't ask to come here. Like, you invited me here unprovoked. And I'm like, okay, and we're hanging out. I'm like, that's fine. I wasn't like butthurt about it, but I was just kind of more curious. I'm like, what was the plan here? Did you like want me to come see your vintage Jane Goodall prints? Like, did you want me to come see like your cool?
Is that what she had?
Glow in the dark star stickers on the wall, like because you're like a boho chick. I don't know. But I just remember leaving. I was like, I don't know what happened.
Somebody should have blown me.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. I was just more so like, what was this girl's intent? I think this girl's intentions tonight was just to get drunk and have me pay for it and then hang out. And I'm like, that's fine. But I was like, I was just confused. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go.
Oh, yeah.
And she texts me again. She's like, you want to hang? Like, then she texts me like while I'm in the finals of school. I'm like in a final, and I'm like texting. I'm like, she's like, you want to come over right now? I'm like, nope.
Oh.
And I was like, nope. And I shut that down because I'm like, this chick has her wires crossed. But anyway, no, it was most of the reason I told that story was getting a white Russian at a college bar and then demanding that there's more alcohol in it.
Dude,
it's a move.
It's
a move.
Dude, I had that same thing, but it was this girl I went on a date with.
No, you got to tell the worst one.
I told the worst one?
You said that was one of the worst, but you didn't say the worst. You guys say the worst.
The worst?
What was the worst date you've ever been on?
Worst one I ever went on? Oh, man. This was so bad. This is such a good story, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in Hollywood. All right. Again, around the same time. Thirst King, right? So I matched with this girl, and it's always a bad idea when whether you're a man or a woman, if someone has in their profile, take me on I've never like been on a date that wasn't a dating
adventure.
Not that. Take me on a proper date. Ask me on a date take me on a proper date.
And you did? All right, dude.
Okay, so this is the worst one. All right, so I show up running goose on Cahuenga Boulevard, Hollywood. All right, show up on time. Am I ever late?
Not really.
No.
Not by much. Not by my standards.
Not by much. If I am, show up on time. I'm waiting for this girl. She's texting me like, ugh, parking. All right. And I'm not, and
plan
for it. Unacceptable. You live in Los Angeles.
You got to plan for it.
You got to plan for it. Unacceptable. Not an excuse. So anyway, shows up like 15 minutes late. And she says, all right. First of all, the way you dress, if you go on a date, you don't have to dress well. It's all up to you. But the way you dress dictates how you value this.
It's a first impression. You're sending a message both ways.
Guy, very important. Girl is.
That's why I always show up in my Punisher hoodie.
Yes.
So they know exactly where I stand.
Because you're a gentleman.
Blue Lives Matter on the back. I want them to know I value honor and respect.
First impression.
Yeah, dude.
So this girl shows up. Greasy ass hair, yoga pants, sweatshirt, unshowered,
unshowered. You can tell she's unshowered.
Unshowered, no makeup.
I thought you were just being a little.
Not saying you got to do that, but it shows me. I'm like, okay,
you didn't give a shit.
I got it.
Take me on a proper date after I go to Hit Theory. After I go to Orange Theory. Sorry.
So first thing she doesn't even look at me. She tells the host, hey. Like, your parking is wrong. Like, your sign says that it's free parking, but then they were asking for money. So you need to, like, change that. She says this to the host. And this is a host that I'd had a pretty good interaction when I got there.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll
let's change that for you.
So at first I'm like, ooh, boy. Okay. So anyway, I sit down with this girl. I'm going to cut a lot of this shit out. Yeah. But she's telling me all about herself. And this woman never asked a God, do I like talking about myself? Yes.
Oh, wait, you went on a first date and they didn't ask anything about you? No way.
So I'm talking to this girl and she's telling me all about her. Oh, I got this place in Joshua Tree. I'm like starting a bed and breakfast there. It's just all these like fake business shit. And of course, you dude trying to get laid, you don't say
that sounds
anything
cool,
about
dude.
it.
It's cool you're like an entrepreneur.
Whoa, that's cool. So like, what's it? How is that coming along? I'm playing. I'm like, but I'm quickly realizing
anything.
So, and then she tells me, she's like, yeah, so, I mean, I live in my car. It's not a big deal. I live in my car. I live in a Suburban. I have my dog in it. It's not a big deal.
What?
I just think it's good.
She has a dog and she lives in a car?
She says, I'm just trying to I'm saving money and I don't really see the point.
That's so much worse than just being on the streets. Is you're like, I'm trying to get my Joshua Tree Airbnb sham of an operation off the ground. So I'm forcing a German Shepherd to live in a car. Like, get real. Get your fucking priorities straight. I would have told, I'd be like, hey, get your fucking priorities straight.
Guy. You Thirst King, you're not gonna say that, dude.
I don't know, dude. I can't. All
right.
I can't.
So anyway, I make the joke. I say, okay, well, you're clearly comfortable with it. I don't feel any type of way about it, right? I'm like, I don't really care. That's your job.
Like, I'll fuck in a Suburban.
Oh, of course. Like,
That's essentially what you're saying.
I mean, essentially, but ultimately, I'm like, that's live in a car. If you have it set up in a way, that's cool. I don't mind.
Yeah, who cares?
I really don't care. And then, but I make the joke because I'm clearly like, you're comfortable with it. I'm like, oh, so you're a homeless person. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, you're a person without a home. Like, I make a joke. I'm like, oh, you're a homeless person. Like, and then she did not like that. All right. So
yeah, that was a little too real for her. I cut a little deep for Megan.
She got, it might have been.
I hope I guessed correctly.
But anyway, so it's not going well. And at multiple points in the date, she's just telling,
what did she say? Well, no, what was her reaction when you said, oh, so you're homeless?
She was like, well, that's very rude. I don't really understand why you would say that. And it was just this whole thing where I'm like,
God.
Girl, you just told me you didn't have a home. I called you homeless as a joke. You seem comfortable with it. I don't give a shit. Laugh about
well, that means
it.
she's not comfortable with it.
No, clearly not. So anyway, she's just, we're talking. I'm not talking about myself. It's just clearly I'm just like, not vibing, right?
It's not vibing.
I'd mentioned at multiple points in the date that if I were a man, like I was definitely mentioned multiple points in the date that I was paying for this meal. Okay.
One would hope, She's got to get gas.
But she'd brought this up.
Those things guzzle gas.
For sure. She'd brought this up multiple times. Like, well, men, they pay for dates. And that's what's happening. Like, you're like...
Wait, are you kidding me?
Once or twice.
Dude, fuck this girl. Honestly,
guy,
I can't imagine being so thirsty that I could overlook this chick's horrendous fucking faux bohemian, the ribbon of a life, like wannabe Francis Hoff, fake LA bullshit life. Like, fuck that, dude. And I say that because you got an Airbnb in Joshua Tree.
Yeah. So she says. So anyway, I'm talking, and I at this point I just had a hard time ending dates early. All right, and the bill's getting racked up. She's on her third bottle of wine. I'm just kind of like,
wait,
yeah,
dude.
And she drove. So
of course she drove.
Anyway, I'm like,
of course she drove, dude.
Yeah, of course. She didn't Uber from a car. Weird. Anyway, so
can you imagine? He's like, yeah, I Ubered from my house. So where is it?
Yeah.
It's parked at the Santa Monica beach lot.
Exactly. Dude, so she
gets 3 bottles of wine.
Not bottles. I'm sorry, glasses.
You said bottle, and I was like,
excuse me. That's unreal.
Buried the lead here, dude. This chick's fucked.
And one thing she'd said, she's like, well, and I don't give she's like, because you haven't even asked me why I don't give out my number on Bumble. She said that to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, because basically at this point she didn't have my number. We just communicated on the app, and I'm like, oh okay. And then I'm like, I need to use the restroom, so I end up going to the restroom. And if you've been to the Running Goose in Hollywood, okay, the restroom is outside near the
so you're like, I can just go. I can just go.
I'm not thinking about this at this point. All right. So I'm on the toilet and it just clicks to me. I realize that I'm in a miserable spot. I'm like, all right, this bill's going to be over a hundo. I'm like, this kind of sucks.
That's a sunk cost at that point.
It's sunk cost. I'm like, I think you thirsty dudes play the game. They roll the dice. That's how it goes, man.
It's so business.
Then it occurs to me, I'm like, oh, this girl doesn't have my number. I open this door to an alley where my car is parked at the end of on Selma. So I'm like, nothing has ever been more clear in my life of what I was supposed to do. I just knew. I was like, oh, I
just leave.
I unmatch
leave
her.
The bill.
I open up Bumble. Unmatch. She has no way to contact me. All right. I walk out of that restroom. Don't wash my hands. Okay. Because I need to be quick. I'm like, I already know what I'm going to do. Pee, finish. Don't even wash my hands. Walk out. Walk into that alley calmly. Walk in. Well, I leave.
With confidence.
I leave acting like I'm talking on the phone.
Pro move.
Okay. I act like I'm talking on the phone. I talk on the phone the whole way down the alley. There's my car. I get in my car and I leave. And I go, guy, I haven't even been. I'm on the road back to my apartment. I'm almost like,
fuck this uppity bitch.
I'm like 3 minutes down the road, and I realized I was like, guy, was that the right thing to do? No, it was the wrong thing to do. I sinned against that girl. I sinned against the Running Goose. I sinned against God. But ask me how I feel about that to this day.
How do you feel about that? Bet you don't regret it.
I feel awesome.
I bet you don't regret it.
And I did the wrong thing. And at that point, I knew I was like, I'm not a great guy. I'm not a good person. don't give a fuck. But here's the thing. They were already like, the people at that restaurant had to be like, yeah, we don't like you. You came in bitching at us.
Yeah,
no wonder that guy fucking dined and dashed. I committed a crime, dude.
Yeah,
I didn't pay for my meal.
Listen, we've all dined and dashed before. Like, that happens.
I had never done it until then. I was just like, I really don't know how this works out for this person. But at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and do the wrong thing. I'm going to do the sin. And at some point, you feel like you'd feel guilty.
It feels good to sin.
Felt awesome.
It's something because it's just like so cathartic to just be like, to strip away every pretense of what you're supposed to do in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I just gotta go back and sit down like a bitch and pay for all this shit.
No.
For a girl who has been nothing but rude and inconsiderate and just a total leech.
Guy, she might have not even known my name, and that's how great of an escape it was. I was like,
so great, dude.
Couldn't find me. Maybe.
Oh my God, that like gave me chills thinking about that. Such a smooth exit. I can't do that. I've only dined and dashed at a Steak and Shake, and that's fine. They deserve it. But
yeah,
like,
that's fine.
I remember. Okay, we'll wrap this segment with. I remember one time I went on a date with this chick, and not nearly as cool, but like I meet her at some bar, and we go in, and first red flag is like she seems like normal. She's like cool. It's one of those things where you like have so much in common. Sometimes you're kind of like a dude. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of like broing out right now, and it's not. It's just not the same vibe as it could
I like
be.
that.
I do too, but it's
The girl
not.
can talk like about the Jets, dude.
Yeah, but like sometimes
Sure,
it becomes a
I
thing.
get
You're
it.
like,
I'm just
this
fucking
is
with you.
yeah. But anyway, so we're having like drinks, and anyway, so I get ready to order the second round number 2. I order round number 1. I assume I'm paying. I don't give a fuck. That's
Assume that, yeah, of
that's
course.
the name of the
Yeah.
game, all right? So I'm like, okay, I bought the first round. I'm like, another? And I was like, I had signaled to him. I was like, hey, give me another beer. I was like, what do you want? And she's like, oh, no, I'm good. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
I just like take my second beer. And then like, so he's like, all right, he goes to get the beer. And she's like, yeah, I'm good. And she's like a first responder, like working in an ambulance or whatever. She's like, yeah, I've seen too many people like splattered on the asphalt to drink more than one beer at a bar and then go drive a car. And I was like, again, I'm like, this date's over. Like, you're crazy. Like, what? You say that to someone after they order a second beer. 2 beers. I wasn't out here doing fish tax with this chick. Like no, I ordered 2 beers at a boring bar in North Side. Like, so anyways, that first red flag, she's like, I've seen too many people splattered on asphalt. And I want to be like, what does that look?
So
I want to hit her back with, in my brain, I was like, what does that look like? But I didn't do that. I didn't hit her back
Okay,
with
what
that.
sticks out to me is like, well, you still drank 1. So clearly your conviction's not that crazy
she's
because
just
you drove here and you still drank.
No, she was just a bitch. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, whatever. I like gloss over. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So then we're like talking or whatever the rest of the night. And so then she's like, this doesn't count as one date. So anyway, it's like, it's weird. I'm like, this is weird. But anyway, so that the date ends. We like had some good conversations. It wasn't like a total shutout.
Yeah, you had a good
But it was
time,
one of
yeah.
those things. I'm like, you're like, that's not a normal way to react.
You're
to something.
ambivalent.
That's yeah. So anyway, she's like, let's go on another day. So I'm like, all right. So I meet her after I was at like campus late one night working on some shit, and then I meet her at some campus bar right after, and so she comes in like she's late and she's like storming in. She's like, oh, just so much going on. I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, she's begging for someone to ask her what's going on.
You got to.
And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I can't talk about it. I'm like, dude, what are we, fucking 14?
What do we gotta do
Outside of
song and dance.
We're at the fucking movie theater right now and you're being all weird. Like, come on. So I'm like, okay. She's like, it's just stuff. It's just like my mom and just the way she handles things. I'm like, okay.
I'm just like so stressed out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, well, I'm moving on. Like, whatever. I'm like, this is...
Well, moving on.
Well, so I'm like, let's gloss over this. So I'm like, okay, let's get these mozzarella sticks. I drank 2 beers again. I didn't give a fuck. I think I drank 3 beers that night. I was like, I'll let this shit. I was like, hey, I'm comfortable driving on 5 beers. That's what you don't get. I'm from the country, dude. Anyway, no. So she's like, we're talking one point, and she name drops in the hardest way, like a fucking 30-pound hammer on the floor. She's like, yeah, so, going home for the holidays, it's always weird to hang out with the family. And I'm like, okay, whatever she's saying. She's like, well, my cousin's famous, so that's like another aspect of it that makes things weird when I go home for the holidays. And then, of course, I'm like, and then picture me on the other side of the table in like a Blink-182 t-shirt, like, who's your cousin? And she's like, oh, what's Gordon Hayward? And I'm like, wait. Uh-huh. Really? And she's like, yeah, he plays for the Utah Jazz. I don't know if you're a basketball fan. I'm like, I'm familiar with Gordon Hayward. He's very talented. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I just want to know about Gordon Hayward. Like now, and then I'm like, okay, at least I have something to gain from this date now.
What are you gonna gain? A date with
Gordon
Hayward?
Some cool story. I want to know what he puts on his Thanksgiving plate. I want to know like what he got for like Christmas. Right. Just cool.
Who's
shit.
a Gordon Hayward fan?
I knew who he was, dude.
Okay, former All-Star Gordon Hayward. Kind of interesting. Go on.
Dude, he hadn't busted out his fucking knee yet.
Okay.
He was still a top dog.
All right.
So anyway, she does all that and then goes back at the end of the day. She's like, yeah, I just all this stuff with my mom. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm just going to move out and I just have to be on the streets or something. And I'm like, okay. And that's when I'm like, all right, it's time to wind down. I'm going to go on with my life. And you're going to keep being a fucking hurricane of a person who's just sucking in ambivalent, spineless men to float around you forever for you to complain about your problems with and never, ever latch onto it. You're literally just a loose piece of a fence swinging around a twister of your existence, like hitting people along the... Like, I ain't going to be a part of it. And nothing as bad as like ditching a chick who deserved it at a bar, but...
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I'm not...
In the words of our good friend Rand Barnacle, and I say this all the time, you know what? You have a good night.
Have a good night.
Let's wrap it.
You have a good night.
That's a good place.
No, it has not been that long.
Has it not?
No, we got to keep going. You do,
dude. I have to pee.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
We got a good whiskey. 50-minute.
It can't be 50 minutes.
You're trying to get me drunk.
Two things, dude. I'm not telling you to drink more. Okay. I'll drink the Knob Creek. It's staying in my place. I'll keep drinking it. I put it on egg. Did I tell you I put it on eggnog? Dude, if anyone out there fucks with eggnog, I need you to like send me a DM or something. If you mix it with bourbon, do you drink it hot? Or do you drink it like on ice on the rocks with
chilled?
Bourbon? That's kind of what I thought.
Who's drinking hot eggnog?
I've heard people make like warm spice eggnog with a bunch of bourbon in it. And it's like warm. Nice. You put it in a coffee mug. But I didn't. I put it on ice with bourbon. I was like, it's just like weird.
The eggnog?
Yeah. I felt weird.
You drink it hot usually?
I've had it hot. Like homemade, like when people make homemade eggnog. And it's like spiced with like bourbon or rum or something like that. Ooh. It's kind of like in a cauldron. You put it in like a coffee mug. It's like a warm.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I didn't know how to drink it. I still did. It still worked. What?
Have you had either mulled wine or glühwein, as it's called?
I've had mulled wine. Mulled wine's great.
Dude.
That's some
Christmas ass shit.
That's
dude.
Some Renaissance type drunk, dude. Yeah. That's the good shit. Get that or mead. Get drunk on mead.
Oh yeah, some mead, dude.
Draw up some battle plans.
Dude, that's when you put some wine in a little pot and then get it hot. Dude, throw in the orange peel.
Oh my god, I love some dude. I remember there was this wine I always used to. I could only find it at Meijer, but it would come out every Halloween. It was called like Witch's Tongue or something like that. And it was wine that you put like you're supposed to heat it up and then drink it.
No,
and it was like spiced wine for like autumnal. Dude,
that sounds awesome.
We could get some of that and get drunk together and like talk about our feelings and like write a scary novella. What? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
it just seems like the shit you do when you're drinking hot wine.
We need to drink some.
Who drinks hot wine? I feel like it's like a lesbian book club, maybe.
In the Renaissance fair, dude. Germans
like hot wine?
Oh, glühwein, dude. Yeah, man.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, dude, they love any way they can possibly get fucked up and then repress their emotions.
Yeah, that is a. They German
like to
thing
be.
To
they
do.
basically Germans like to edge their emotions. If you're familiar with edging, they like to get to the point where they really are about to tell someone how they actually feel. and then not.
Germans are
Tantric emotional repression.
The only time I've been to Europe, I noticed that Germans were the ones I felt were most like Americans.
You think so?
I thought so. And I think people in Europe, people in the European Union think that Germany is the most like America.
Oh, really?
I've heard that. I don't know if it's true. If anyone listens to the podcast overseas, which they don't, let us know.
They do.
We got overseas listeners?
Mm-hmm.
Not counting the Chechenian computers that are...
No, in Malaysia.
That we pay for every month. Malaysia.
There's people in Malaysia.
The Philippines.
It's weird. There are people in Malaysia that listen. They listen on SoundCloud. So...
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Can you send me a DM on Instagram, please?
Yeah, no. I mean, they're on YouTube. So, they're on SoundCloud. It's like regular basis. And they're not bots. They're like
Who
straight
are
up
these people.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I don't know. I think
we gotta get these people on 90 Day Fiance.
We do.
That should be our version of 90 Day Fiance. We go to meet the Malaysian fans. That we make a little mini documentary about we fly to Malaysia together and
for only the Malaysians to watch.
Yeah, and it turns out we're trying to act like it's we're gonna meet fans in this country. No, and it ends up just being we're just two lonely guys who wanted to go meet some random people in Malaysia, and we go there. And I don't know what's going on in Malaysia though, so I feel like I would have to do some research before I go down there.
You can surf in Malaysia. That's what's up.
You can surf in Malaysia?
That's what I know about Malaysia. Mm-hmm.
So you know that it's against water.
Dude, Malaysia's an island, my guy.
I know. The joke was that
oh, you're making fun of me.
It's an island.
Oh,
yeah.
you're making fun of me. So
you
knew. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Oh, well, I know it. I know it's surrounded by water. I know that part.
Well, I know the surfs. All right. Well, you know what? I challenge you to name another Malaysian fact, guy. What do you know?
They make great. Listen, their top export is Old Navy. That's all I know.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
You win.
That's all you got to know about Malaysia.
I know what the flag looks like. Dude, a lot of people bit the American flag. Malaysia totally bit the American flag.
So just everyone's a copycat, dude.
Of course, we kind of, Australia, guy, get your own flag, man.
Yeah, right.
What a bitch ass flag to take the British flag and be like, well, it's just a slight permutation of the flag that used to enslave us.
To be fair, I guess, yeah, you're right. They had independence, but they still had that Munchausen syndrome. It's got to look like the British flag.
Exactly.
They're still daddy, technically.
For sure. We use the same colors, though. Guy, we're out. We've been going an hour.
We're out. Let's wrap it. You're right. We'll do this. We're both drunk. It is what it is.
And not driving home.
No, of course not. Because your home is a Suburban.